Good afternoon. Today, gonna do gonna work a point that's made from fused glass. This was given to me by one of my friends. It's got a small microwave kiln. So he took I'm guessing by the color of the glass, he took the, what is it, those blue Bud Light bottles, and he busted them up and made it into a point. So we're gonna run some flakes on this, and hopefully it'll turn out to be a nice video for you guys. So this video is going to be basically about pressure flaking, because that's what the majority of this one's going to be. That glove's got holes all through it. There we go. So everybody does their slabs a little different. Some people will take and they will zigzag the whole thing and then knock the highs and lows off. The way that I found works best for me is I will actually literally start and pop a flake, and I'll run it. Hopefully they all run halfway across, and then I come and do the other side the same way, and then I'll clean the edge up, and then I will basically go so I'll braid the edges off, and then I'll start again, and then knock the deltas off and keep going on it. So let's see if we can get this all skinned up, and then we'll notch it. We'll make a nice, maybe we'll make this one into a Snyders. We'll run the corners in. All right. So main tools we're going to use for this: braiding stone and an Ishi stick for pressure flaking. Okay. So, make sure that these are all braided nicely, so that and right here I'm going to run into a problem hooking it with my pressure flaker. Maybe I can hopefully catch that. So obviously, if you're starting at the tip, you're not going to want to run too hard of a pressure across that, because what will end up happening is it'll come right across to this edge and cut this edge off. And then it makes it really hard for you to continue on. So maybe the first couple of flakes I'm going to do with my small pressure flaker. So we're catching it here, and we're just hooking it. See how that flake ran? Right to there. Okay. So basically what I'm doing is I'm moving it a 1/4 inch at a time. So I'm gonna put it here, and we'll go. See, that flake ran over halfway across. See how far that one ran? Right to there. That edge. Pressure flaker's slipping off that edge, so. I may as well take this here. Let's dress that up just so it'll grab. We're gonna catch it here now. We're gonna see the flake ran. It ran almost all the way across. Just gonna work this one along. See how that's looking? So my pressure flakes basically come all the way, 3/4 of the way across. When I first started, I watched all kinds of videos where the guys are working glass. And then, so I went down to the local glass shop and I got scraps of glass and I broke them and everything else. And then I practiced making stuff out of them. So I probably spent a good 2 months running flakes. That one's going halfway across. I'm not sure how some of the guys actually, like mine are terminating in the center here. So hopefully when I run my flakes back from this side, I can get rid of those hinges. But I mean, some of the guys at Flint Knapp, they got so much talent. Like their points are just immaculate, for lack of better words. And be careful you don't drop them, because when you drop them, they have a tendency to break. Let's switch back to the little pressure flaker just for these flakes. Slipping off, so we got to braid that thing again. And one little one at the point. There you go. So that's what it looks like, one side completely skinned. And I sure love the color of this blue glass. The slag glass that I've been getting to work comes from Michael's, and when you're working that stuff, the thinner you make it, the lighter the color is. So all of a sudden, you can, if it's a super thin point that you're making, you're gonna find that the point almost, it's got a tinge of blue, like a tint, but that's it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And braid the edge. And we're gonna start at the point again. Pop a couple small flakes. You see, I didn't even put any pressure on that one, and that flake ran all the way over and cut part of this edge off. That's called overshot. There we go. See, I'm coming 3/4 of the way across. So I'm going to switch back to the Ishi stick, and then we'll work this one around. Then we'll braid them, and then we'll go back and do it all over again. Well, that one popped off, and the flake only went not even 1/4 of an inch. There we go. And you can see how the little teeth are there. So there's the little, these are the deltas. So once I rough it all up, then I'm going to catch these and I'm going to snap those off. And that's going to thin my point even more. And then I'm just going to keep doing that. So I'll flip it over, do the other side, flip it over until there's only like a 1/16 of an inch left here. And then once that's done, then we'll zigzag it and then notch it. And so when you're pressure flaking, when you get at the edge, you're pushing the in, and then as you're pushing in, you're also flicking it down so that we want that flake release, the energy runs the flake. When your flake stalls out, when you only run a small flake, it means you didn't have enough preload when it comes to that. So then the flake will only stop, like right there. The other problem when fused glass like this, or that I find, is one edge is square, the edge that's sitting down on the kiln, and the top edge has a little bit of a crown to it, as you can see. So when you go to run the flake, sometimes you can't catch that edge. So you gotta take your time and make sure you braid the crap out of it. Having problems with that 2 spots there. Caught it. One more right there. You can see that I got that high spot there where it's folded over, and then I gotta come around this side, do the same thing. But once you got your initial pass done, then you won't run into that problem anymore. It's just that sometimes the initial pass can be a bit of a bitch. Like that. There you go. Heard that one snap and pop over everything else. Again, with when you start working these, especially when you get closer to like this part from here to the point, you be a little bit more careful, because if you put too much pressure on that flake, that whole tip will snap off. And I know that through experience. I probably had 100 of them do that. When you're doing strictly pressure flaking, you want to really make sure that you dress your tools in the piece. It can't be smooth. So the tool needs a place to grab. That's the problem right now. I'm not grabbing anything. Now you can see, if you're looking at it this way, you can see how that edge curls up. So right here, this edge is actually round. So it's making it harder for me to catch it and run a flake. That's one of the flakes. See, what I'm having to do is I can't catch just the edge. So I had to move my purchase spot where I put my tool a lot higher and then put all the pressure on it. And then hopefully as it comes down, it's going to grab one of those grooves and then it pops your flake off. Just got 3 more flakes off this one, and then it becomes easier. Back to the, because I'm close to the tip. That's a little pressure flicker. Okay, there's both sides done. As you can see, I got a little bit of through there. So what I'm going to do is braid this up. We're going to start at the top again. Pop 1, 2, and the flakes are running like right to there. So now back to the Ishi stick. Right under the fingernail, that's going to bleed. I'm going to put the other glove on again. Damn, that one's smarted. So lots of people will, if their material, if they have lots of, well, I shouldn't say, if they have a material that's hard to come by, or like they don't get a lot of, they'll spend time slabbing it up. And the reason they slab it is so that they can utilize the amount of material. Because when you're spalling a chunk, you probably, when you spall a chunk, when you first start, you probably get 10% of that chunk is usable. Afterwards, like once you get better, the amount, the percentage of that chunk that's usable comes up. Right now, I think I'm at about 60% when I do it. I'm pretty sure some guys are way better than 60%. But so like I like spalling, like materials that I get a lot of, I like to spall because I like to keep in practice with it. So there's the second pass on that side. Now I'm going to do second pass on this side, starting at the tip. And then I'll work my way all the way around it again. And then might have to do a third on the one side, just because it might still be a little bit thick for me to zig, thicker for my liking. Other people, it all comes down to what your preference is. Not everybody naps the same. Not everybody has the same. Everybody has the same goals, but not everybody has the same way to get to the goals. Oop. That was not what I wanted to do. Just crush that edge. Didn't have a very good shoulder on that one. Look what happened there. Hinged like 1/4 inch in. So as I get to the tip, I'm taking it real easy again because I don't want to snap the tip off. See, now I got about between an 1/8 and a 3/16 of an inch on this edge. So I'm going to do the bottom side one more time, and see if we can run the flakes across. Maybe get rid of some of this. I got some hinge stuff happening in the middle. Most of it off. That one's going to be I think that one's going to be a pain, but we'll try it. I knew that wouldn't do it. Oh, there you go. Took the majority of it off right there. Cleaned up that where a hinge was there. The 1/4 inch went long. It was in a 1/4 inch for the edge. So that's it for the Ishi stick. So now, last little bit I like to do just with the pressure flaker. Just the smaller one. This one here. So now what I like to go and do is even out the I'm gonna have to get, I think it's called the lap machine, just to do my edges up, because that'll eliminate the problem I'm having right here where there was a bubble in it or whatever, and now I can't. So the problem is this piece of glass right here, I've got no shoulder to catch, so I gotta try to catch it on the edge and drive the flake across to get rid of the high spot. Well, I did it. One high spot right there, I can see. There, we got it. Oh no, we didn't. One right beside it. Damn it. There we go. Got it. Okay, so that's about where I want to, where myself, now I'll zigzag that, and then we'll touch it up, and then we'll look at notching it, and then that'll be your point, right? I'm gonna clean this edge up as we notch it so it's a little bit more perfect. Okay. Okay, so I don't like to start at the point with this stuff in case the point breaks. So what I like to catch it about right here, push down, so, and I'll flip it over. Flip it over. This is called zigzagging it. Basically the same thing you do when you're working a spall down. When you're getting down, you want to zigzag it so you can set your platforms up. So what I like to do is I zigzag this, and then I'll notch it, and then when I go to sharpen the point, I'll start at one side and I'll catch all the low spots, and then I'll go move to the, I'll flip it over, and I'll do it again on the other side. And my thumb is just throbbing now where that flake went underneath the fingernail. Guess I know what the bamboo shoot thing feels like. except nobody set it on fire. Now, when it comes to napping materials, especially when you're starting out, there's all kinds of different things you can do. So glass, obviously. You can go to the hardware store like Home Depot, Rona, and you can pick up ceramic and porcelain tiles. They're like not very expensive. So if you screw them up, it's not a big deal. And then work those. I've worked broken plates. Toilet tanks work really good. People call them Johnstone or Thunder Chert. It works really well. You can make some nice stuff out of them. My biggest point that my first point that I made that was successful, that was big, was made out of a piece of toilet tank. And I actually put some serrations on it. So in a sec here, once I finish this side and get to the point, I'll show you what it looks like. See the difference? There's the serrated edge, and then there's the one that I haven't done yet. Same with here. So here's your zigzag. So afterwards, what I'll do is I'll take my abrader and I'll run my abrader down this way, which will show me the highs and the lows and which side they're at. And then I can literally take it and go click, 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 click all the way down it, and then it'll be done. Normally I have some music playing while I'm doing this. Varies for me. I could be 80s rock is by far my favorite, but then I listen to country, 60s and 70s stuff, and then some of the songs I like for World War II era. Different types of music, depends on the mood I'm in. So might have to grab my old cell phone and pair it with the radio here, because when I'm using my phone now, I'm not getting any music to play. So flint napping for me is calming. It affects my work, or it doesn't affect my work. It makes the problems of my work go away. I suffer from PTSD, or some form of PTSD. So this is relaxing for me. I could sit outside here for hours, if not days on end, and just nap away. I actually get lost in it. I've had my wife wake up in the middle of the night and I'm still not in the house, and she'll text me, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I just lost track of time. I'll be in the house in a bit." So I'm going to do one of my videos here that I'm going to do in the next little bit. I'm going to go through, now that the weather is changing, I can lay all my tools out, and because it's actually getting warm enough, which is nice. No more minus temperatures, and the snow's almost gone, so spring runoff's going to happen pretty quick. And then I can lay all my tools out and do a video on all the tools and which ones I've made, which ones I bought. It's real. Flint napping itself is the hardest part. Is getting the material, making the tools and everything is not that hard. There's all kinds of videos online for making the tools. And if you're in the States, there's lots of guys in the States make and sell the tools. They do a really good job. Unfortunately, in Canada, I have yet to find a place that makes and sells flint knapping tools. Obviously, the original stuff, the stone and bone stuff, I make myself. I trade for people, and I get moose antler and deer antler, and so I make my billets and out of that. And when I'm out in the bush, I pick up bones for making notching tools, stuff like that. So being really careful now, finishing the tip up here, because lots of times when I've been working these, I end up busting 1/4 inch off the tip. Damn it, I stalled that one out. I don't want to put too much pressure on it because it's going to cause it to break. Here we go. There we go. There, now the whole edge is zigzagged. All right, so now, like I said before, I'm not very good at symmetrical notches, so what I'm gonna do is I'll take a felt pen and I'll draw my notch where I want the notch, and then I'll notch that out, and then we'll finish it up. So I need a felt pen. That's right. Normally for this part, the chances of getting a shard shoved underneath your nail or into your skin, not too bad now. So I take my gloves off when I'm notching. You should always wear safety glasses when doing this as well. Sometimes I'm one to talk because sometimes I'll end up having my glasses up on my head through the whole video, and then I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, whoops. That looks pretty even. Alrighty, so now we take our little notching pad and our notching tool. So basically, you're going to start here and pop it in. And same on the other side. Almost blew the corner right out of that, so now this notch will be a little bit bigger now because it actually caught the edge, and the cone of percussion from that pressure flake was big enough that it actually clipped off the edge of the material. And that does happen quite a bit. Most of the actual traditional points that I've found, the notches are sporadic because same thing happens. They spend so much time on their point, and then they go to use it, or they go to notch it when after they've made it, and then all of a sudden they break a corner off. So then instead of the notch being here, the notch is up here, and this corner is now missing on their point. But again, like I said before, their points were functional. They had a specific job to kill, right? So they just needed something that was workable. So when you're doing these notches, you always want to make sure that your notches end up below your center line, because if they become above your center line, then you're putting too much pressure on your piece and you can snap it. More people have snapped ears off points when they're trying to notch them at the end. That, yeah, I bet you that if you took all the flint knappers and you took a penny for every time that they broke an ear off the corner while they're notching, you could probably get away with never having to work a day in your life. So when I'm doing that, I'm just abrading that edge, so then when I flip it over, this edge is ready for me to go again. See that little pop? That means that there's the cone of percussion right there that came out of that. And you can see right there, right? So you got to be careful when you're first starting your point, because if the cone of percussion is that big, it takes off this edge and this edge. Yeah, I'll take one more pop off this one, and then I'll work to the other side. There we go. So there's one notch. I'll take one off the middle so it's rounded out, it's not square. There we go. Last one here. And one of the advantages to doing points like they're doing a slab point like this is when you're doing a spall, you always want to really concentrate on making sure your base is thin so you're able to notch it, your notches don't stall out. This piece is already thin because it was already a 1/4 inch when I started. Not to say you still can't stall a notch out in it. It is possible, it's just not probable. Just leave this notch a little thin to start here, because I might have to change the one side of it. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna have to do. I broke a piece off right here. So it was a nice day today. We took our dogs to the beach, let them run around. Picked up some driftwood for my, so I can make some more knife displays. It's that time of year. Go to the flea markets and powwows if they have one. set up and away I go. Then there's corner percussion, but this one broke. So that one had a big corner percussion. It snapped off. You can see it's almost a quarter of an inch from the edge of the cone to the edge of my hole. So I probably might be able to get 2 pokes off of this one. Let's try it here one more time. Oh, slipped off. I just gotta widen that baby out. You got some guys that can do some phenomenal notching, really thin. Top of my head, I know Mike Cook is awesome. He's actually got some notching videos. And Robert Lofton, who I just talked to a couple of times, he does some really, he just made a really nice eccentric that, so that I was telling you about. You see you got your highs and your lows, so I will flip this down and I will knock the highs and the lows off everything on this point. Back to the little point. And be careful, these things are sharp. I just use the serrated edge on my finger. So, fortunately, no cuts. You see how that looks now? I'll turn it around so you can see the camera. You see how that is? You can see that there's still some high spots on this side. And so when I finish going around it, I'll flip this one over and then I'll hit it again, knocking all the highs off this side. We've taken all the highs off, so this side we got to start. Again, when you're doing this, you got to really be careful. Make sure, because if you push your tool in the wrong spot, you could end up snapping your point, and all that work that you've done is for naught. Lots of times you can, if you break one, you can save the 2 pieces and make a smaller point. Sometimes if it's a really, really large point, sometimes you can make a couple of pieces out of it. Oh, the tip's a little bit thick. Gotta see which edge needs a touch up here. Got a piece of glass underneath my glasses and right into my eye. That's why I stopped for a second there. Okay. There we go. There's our finish point. See how thin it is. There you go. Hope everybody has a nice day. Thank you for watching.